Good morning. This is Daily Hebrew Declarations with Daniel Jedediah Cook, and I'm reading the declaration for today, April the 29th, 2021. The three Hebrew letters we're honoring today are Ayin, Judah, and Shin. Now, Judah is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. We're also honoring the spirit of counsel and the spirit of knowledge. The declaration today reads this: Revelation, the perfection of your love, Yahweh, creative lights, divine respiration, a tent peg, a securing portal to all realms, with our breath returned back to you, Yahweh, as we walk in this place of action. Now, today's declaration really begins with the place of, once again, Ayin, and the place of seeing. See, the basic understanding or the basic picture of the living letter Ayin is not only just a letter, but it's also a word, because Ayin also means eye, and it's that place of seeing. But see, anytime we see something, we're really confronted with two major questions. What do I see, and how do I see it? And many of you have heard me say these questions over and over and over again, and Ayin is a really perfect letter that begins to help for me to understand the way that I see something. Because I've found that, at least in my life, and the process that Yahweh has taken me, that I have two choices when I look at something. One of those choices is, do I take it at face value? Do I take it by what it looks like on the outside? Because many times the how I see it can be based on any number of things: attitudes, perspectives, perceptions, the heart, the attitude of the person who or the situation that may be going on. And then, of course, the first thing that I'll do is judge this: is this something that I want to be a part of, or is this something that I need to go away from? You see, our basic bodily function is to go one of the two different ways. Our nervous system has an automatic response to one of two different directions. One is being fight or flight, and the other one being rest and digest. So one with the fight or flight, it's this place of immediately taking and then getting up and running away from a situation or avoiding a situation. And those are times that we feel like that maybe our life is in danger, or there's something there that's just not quite right. On the other hand, the rest and digest part of our automatic or autonomic nervous system actually allows us that place of resting and relaxation, and that place where really most of our digestion takes place. Because believe it or not, our digestion is a very, very active part of our body, and having that time for our body to conserve its energy to do just that by resting and digesting really just allows our body to just keep constantly in a place of movement, but yet in a place of not necessarily always running and fighting, but also resting and relaxing. And you see, Revelation kind of begins to do just that, because in situations, or even when Yahweh begins to show us something, our automatic or autonomic nervous system almost begins to kick into gear depending upon how we see something. Now, I know today's declaration seems to be a bit of more of a science-y kind of thing, and that's okay. Today I just want to just be me. Not that I'm not already, but I just want to be me in the sense of just really giving the opportunity to talk about, to if you will, work through things. For me, part of the daily Hebrew declarations is just that. It's very raw. It's very real. It's very just down to earth. Listen, guys, this is what I'm thinking about, and then adding in what I know that Yahweh has already said. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear your responses and as to what Yahweh is showing you in the middle of these things. If there are any questions and that sort of thing, because it adds to this processing. Because remember, I only have one part of the puzzle. I only have one part of the treasure. And the treasure that Yahweh has given me is far beyond anything that I could ever dream, think, or imagine. But you too have a treasury room. And the truth is we get to share our treasure with one another. We get to share this place of us working together as one. And so as I was meditating on today, and as I was beginning to think about these different aspects of what we see and how we see it, I began to look at the living letter Ayin itself and the way that that Ayin is spelled. Because if you take the word Ayin, it's spelled Ayin, Yod, Nun Sofit, or Nun final. And to me, that just adds another layer of revelation, especially when I look at the living letter and what it's representing in the first place. And the fact that it's representing revelation. It's representing sight. It's representing really the place of looking beyond. So Ayin, the first letter of the word Ayin, it talks about, just as I said, but it also digs into a little bit more of really just opening ourselves up. You see, many times there are, if you will, veils that have been placed over our eyes, that we placed over our eyes, that says that Yahweh can't move or act through a particular way, because this is where somebody has told me that that's not the way that Yahweh works. Well, I've learned to shed as many of those veils as I can, and Yahweh is still revealing many of those veils to me as I begin to see. So Ayin, that word and that letter, not only talks about the opening of the eyes to see, but it really, to me, talks about the opening of the mind and opening of the heart. The Yod. You see, when we look at the Yod, I begin to think about, the all-spark of creation. Really, creation began when Yahweh plucked a Yod from his heart, and he placed it in the expanse that he had created in himself to be able to speak creation into. And when that Yod was engaged, when he, by the power of his breath and the wind of his breath and the power of his words, he spoke that Yod into existence, and it began to expand and inflate. And it created all of creation that we currently see, and even that we can't see, that's beyond. But see, that little tiny Yod, to me, also reminds me of an idea. It reminds me of that thought that Yahweh puts in our minds that says, hey, what about this? Now, that could be anything from a revelation in the Word, to a business, to an idea, to an invention, to any number of things. Yahweh has hidden these things inside of us so that as we uncover them, we are able to bring them into existence, into the earth. And that's part of the living letter Ayin. It talks about that idea. It talks about that application of what we've begun to see. You see, because Ayin should not only be just seeing something. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And many times when Yahweh's begun to show me something, the first thing that hits me is the spirit of the fear of the Lord. And I realize that there's even something more deeper into that word that I need to look into. There's more revelation. And the more I learn, the more I realize there's more to uncover. And the more I uncover, the more I realize there's still more to uncover. And it's beautiful because it's this ever-increasing glory. It's this ever-increasing place of praise. And so that Yod is there to begin to do something with. And I believe the answer to what needs to be done with that Yod of the idea, that Yod of the allspark of creation that Yahweh has given you, comes because of the last letter of the word Ayin, the Nun Sofit, or the Nun final. You see, there's only one definition that Yahweh has given me so far of the Nun final, or Nun Sofit, and that is, till we all come to the fullness of the measure of the stature of Christ. Let me repeat that one more time. Till we all come to the fullness of the measure of the stature of Christ. You see, that's the place of our eyes, not just the singularity of the eyes that Yahweh has given each one of us to be able to see our part, but then also the singularity of eyes as we come together and begin to see through each other's eyes. This is the heart of the one new man. This is the place of the one new man. This is where we walk in the place of action, because Shin talks about that letter of action. This is where we stand together as the fire of Almighty Yahweh, and we recreate this earth, because the fire of Yahweh has been set abroad across all the earth, and we are reforming, we are transforming this earth through the fire of Almighty Yahweh, not the fire of destruction, but the fire of his presence, the fire of his glory. And the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters covers the sea, because the fire of the Lord is expanded to the place where it is just like the waters that cover the sea.